and welcome to Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Laura Cotter.
And I'm Sky Orchard.
And Sky's a little bit dying.
Yay, COVID.
Oh, poor Sky has COVID. But Sky, you were very productive during your quarantine period for the podcast.
It's true. On Boxing Day, I edited Sabrina Goes to Rome and episodes 3 through 1 of... or 1 through 3 of season 3, so, getting some things done. And now we're recording this since I have nothing else to do while I sit in this room.
While Sky was doing that, I was actually doing some social media videos that have been sitting on my phone for a while. And I posted the Sky eating asparagus and ketchup. And Sky, how does it feel to be a YouTube star now?
Does it count as a YouTube star with those numbers?
I'm counting it. It's more than anything we've seen thus far.
I never thought I'd make it.
I remembered we had a YouTube account and that we can post more than just the audio of our podcast to it. So if you don't have Instagram or Facebook and you still want to see the videos that we post, I uploaded a bunch to YouTube that I completely forgot YouTube could host videos. Also, I know last week or the week before I said I didn't want to be talking about Christmas stuff because we're recording so far ahead, but I'm going to break that immediately because I need to talk about the coolest present I got. Are you ready for this, Guy?
Yep, tell me.
I got dowsing or divining rods.
What? Are we going to go divine? Douse? What do you call it?
I spent some time looking into it. There's a few different ways they can be used. So they can be used to find water underground. There's apparently some old school surveyors who will still use them to find stuff underground. I was like, cool. You can just use them to find lost things or other things. Like you just have to concentrate about what you're trying to find. You can also use them to ask the spirits questions.
Ooh, I did know about that, actually.
I'll send you the girl I come across multiple times on Instagram because she asks crazy things. She asked Jesus if Disney was going to open up a new theme park in the next 5 years.
Oh, what did Jesus say?
Jesus said yes.
Oh.
So you hold them and you ask your question to the spirits. And if it's true, they cross. And if it's false, if it's a no, they go away from each other. So that's the next time we have a big group hangout, we're going to be playing with these for sure.
Nice.
I texted my friend because I pulled, it was in a felt bag and they're brass. And I pulled them out. And I'm like, what is this? And my sister's like, I think that's a thing you put your curling iron or your hair straightener in when it's hot. And I was like, but what are these metal things? And there was luckily a logo on the bag. So I looked it up and I saw they were dowsing rods. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then my mom started playing with them.
Ooh.
It was awesome. So thank you, Heather, in case you ever listen to this podcast. I don't think she listens to any podcast. I'd be impressed if she listened to this. Our question of the week, which is we've kind of already discussed these, but I don't think we've had a dedicated discussion to them. What were your extracurriculars in high school, Sky?
Oh, gosh.
We haven't done this one, a dedicated question to this.
I don't think so. We'll just go with senior year because I did a lot of different sports and stuff before then. But senior year, I was book club president, fencing club president. I did musical theater. Well, not mathletes, but whatever the equivalent of mathletes was as well. Honors club. I also did at some point soccer, basketball, and track during high school.
Wow.
And band and jazz band.
How did you have time to get homework done?
Magic. I was actually able to wake up early back in those days.
Yeah.
Because basketball practice would be at 6 a.m. one day, and then band would be at 7 a.m. the next day.
Wow.
Well, those days are gone. I'm not a morning person.
Right now, it sounds like you're not a life person.
Touche. That was a good one.
You sound so sad. I feel like my energy needs to be at 150 to raise the average.
I'm trying to be peppy. This is really just a PSA to make sure, y'all, if you haven't gotten your COVID and flu shots, get them, because I've gotten my shots, and I sound like this with my shots, so yeah. I'm grateful, I have those shots, because I can only imagine how much worse it would be if I hadn't gotten my booster.
Seriously. And I've gotten every shot ever offered to me, and I've never gotten COVID. I'll say I never tested positive for it. Oh, my extracurricular. Or were you done listing your extracurriculars, or are there more?
I feel like there were more, but let's just end there.
Our question of the week Instagram post, by the way, is going to be at least one picture from high school, like your high school yearbook of you in one of these things. I did far less than you. My main extracurricular that I did all the time was just piano. That was my main one. My senior year of high school, I also did National Honor Society and I was president. And then I did HOSA, which is Health Occupation Students of America. And then we had something called the Renaissance Club. I feel like I've talked about it on the podcast before. It wasn't like Renaissance, the time period. I don't even know really what we did, and I was president of it. It was kind of like an honor society, but like anybody could join. Like you didn't have to like have certain grades or do certain classes to get into it. So it was kind of like an extra nerd club for those of us who didn't get enough nerd out of honor society. Let's get into our episode so we don't keep Sky any longer, so they don't possibly die, because I don't know how to edit.
That's the only reason we're...
But I feel like having like the podcast where a host dies, I feel like that would skyrocket our numbers. Like people would tune in to listen to that one.
It probably would. It'd be like a Rent situation.
So if you're going to die, please do it during this episode.
Oh, live. I didn't realize the death was happening live.
Yeah, like live. I want it to happen on air, recorded.
Okay.
And then whoever takes your place as my co-host, that'll just set us up for success.
Good luck getting access to my Zoom audio.
Shoot, that's right. Okay. There'll have to be somebody from Sundance. So this is season 3, episode 4, the Pom Pom Incident. TV guide description. Valerie announces that she wants to try out for the second string cheerleader squad. Sabrina wants to change her mind. The streaming description. Sabrina's good intentions go bad when she prevents Valerie from trying out for the cheerleading squad. I feel like those are the same. It originally aired October 16th, 1998. We have a new director with Kim Friedman from Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5, and Lizzie McGuire. Our writer is returning Charlie Tursick. Our guest stars, the first one, and one of the people who have such a huge impact on my childhood, is Dom DeLuise as Mortimer. He's a very, very famous comedian. He was in a whole bunch of stuff in the 80s and 90s. Blazing Saddles, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Secret of Nim, An American Tail, Cannonball Run, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights. And he wrote a book called Charlie the Caterpillar, which was incredibly formative to my childhood. And then there was like a little spin-off video called Katie the Caterpillar that I think was just like shown on TV at one point, and we had a bootleg recorded on the VCR copy of it.
I have never heard of this book.
Poor little Charlie the Caterpillar. He's trying to make friends, and every time he tries to make a friend, they tell him, "No, you're ugly. Get out of here."
Oh no.
And so he goes through life being told he's ugly. And then one day he's like, I'm just going to sit here and be sad and build myself a little cozy space. And he makes himself a little cocoon. And then eventually he pops out and he's a beautiful butterfly. And now guess what? All those assholes want to be his friend. And he's like, no, you called me ugly. I got to get out of here. And he tells all of them to go suck it. And then he finds Katie, the caterpillar, who's crying because she's been told she's ugly her whole life. And he's like, I'm going to be your friend because guess what? You're going to be a hot babe one day and everybody else is going to regret it.
Oh, man.
I love Charlie the Caterpillar. Before I even put it together that Dom DeLuise was in this episode, I was talking to my sister about a book that makes my niece cry. My sister's like, remember that caterpillar book that would always make you cry about the caterpillar that kept getting told he was ugly?
I'll have to give that a read.
Yeah, it's good. So that's my tribute to Dom DeLuise. May he rest in peace. Fabulous man. Next one is Lee Allen Ruttman as our Catskills comedian. This is his only credit. Shannon Wells as Martha Washington from Inception, Veep, Grey's Anatomy, Community, and Boy Meets World. Naomi Grossman as an uncredited cheerleader. Not a ton of credits. She had an American Horror Story and a short called My Boyfriend is a Blimp.
Okay.
Julie Ann Riley as another uncredited cheerleader. Some of her credits are The Nothing Man, USA High, and Excretion, The Shocking True Story of the Football Moms.
Oh, gosh. I don't like that. Why is that called that?
I don't know. I copy pasted that exactly because I didn't trust myself to get it correct. So copied and pasted exactly. All right. What are your overall thoughts and rating for this episode, Sky?
I watched it at 12:30 a.m. because you texted and like, okay, notes are done. I need to watch it again. I was like, oh, I should just do that now because I don't even know why. I had a lot of medication in my system. And so I have notes.
You do. You have a very large amount of notes for how drugged up you were.
Love that. I do think I texted you that when you asked me to guess what this episode was about. When I hear the word pom pom, I think of like tiny little cat toy puffs. And so that's what I was imagining with this whole tribble gonna explode, whatnot, and cover people was these very tiny cat toys. And then I realized that pom-poms are also, a cheerleader thing.
I now need you to imagine what was going through my brain as I was picturing cheerleader pom-poms when you were saying that. That's why I was like, oh, okay, sure. I have a soft spot for this episode, mostly because of Dom DeLuise. I think Mortimer is such a precious little character, and I think he does a great job of fitting in with the cast. I feel like Salem's storyline was fun. I like Valerie more in this episode. Valerie actually has a bit of a backbone in this episode, up until Sabrina literally manipulates her thoughts, where her best friend is telling her, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. And Valerie's like, no, this is what I want to do. This is going to make me happy. I'm still going to do it. Which I feel like previous episode Valerie's would be like, no, you're right. I'd be so bad. They wouldn't even pick me. I'm not even going to try. Like, you're right, Sabrina. So I actually didn't mind Valerie in this episode. I liked this Valerie. I know that there's an issue you're going to raise later that I do also agree with that. But I do like that she's starting to have a little bit of her own decision making until Sabrina literally erases it. Sabrina's the bad friend in this one. Valerie is the bad friend last time. Sabrina's the bad friend this time. We're going to start with our cold open,
which starts off with calling all blondes, calling all blondes.
Because Salem calls everyone into the living room where he shows off that he programmed the clock on the VCR. He asks them if they notice anything different. Sabrina says, you threw up on the sofa? And Salem says, I said different. Unfortunately, they are unimpressed.
You dames are just bitter because I'm the man of the house and I know how to do manly stuff, says Salem. Well, you certainly have the scratching yourself part down, says Sabrina.
Zelda zaps in a scoreboard and tells him to program that to impress them. Our outfit intro is a chef, and Sabrina says, we cooked up a great show for you tonight. Everyone is in the kitchen with Salem talking about how manly he feels.
Mr. Can Opener, meet your worst nightmare, Mr. Screwdriver.
The toaster pops up with mail in the form of colorful scarves from cousin Mortimer. Zelda warns Sabrina that he is a witch-gician. Hilda and Zelda disapprove of this. A sudden burst of smoke and Mortimer walks in through the patio door. Mortimer is there for a couple of days because he's booked at the Westbridge Y. Mortimer tries to show off his magic spell, but gets a pickle instead of a nickel.
So now we have Mortimer coming to give the family secret. What happened to Doris? Was she just so mad that she sprayed her goo and then was like, I'm out? Goodbye.
I think so. I think Doris is just not going to play. So hopefully that's not a vital clue that Sabrina needs later on. Also, for when we end up revealing what the family secret is, please remember how very many family members are involved in the revealing of the secret. And remember that this secret applies to all of them, too.
Okay.
Valerie invites Harvey and Sabrina to the slicery.
They're only 200 pizzas away from a free soda.
And in the background, there's a weird poster with two pairs of pants where there's one slim and one wide. And I'm pretty sure it's a fat shaming poster, which is not out of place in the 90s cafeteria. But Harvey has to watch after his little brother because his dad is out of town and his mother is sick with pregnancy. They are all grossed out by the thought of how his mom got pregnant. Luckily, the cheerleaders come in to distract them. Libby announces that they are holding tryouts for spots on the second string squad.
Tops, mops, someone's been reading Moliere again, says Sabrina. Moliere was a French playwright known for works such as Tartuffe, The Misanthrope, The Miser, and Imaginary Invalid. His plays featured physical humor and witty dialogue.
Libby's got the witty dialogue down. Valerie says she's going to try out. Sabrina freaks out. Valerie doesn't understand what's wrong with wanting to be a cheerleader.
Did we learn nothing from Disney World? Like Valerie.
Yeah. Maybe in Valerie's defense, she doesn't say she wants to be a cheerleader with Libby. She likes the idea of doing the cheers. I didn't get the thought that she wanted to do it for the popularity. I think she genuinely enjoys the thought of being a spirit leader in her school.
I will say there's one moment where it is maybe implied that she does want some popularity.
I thought what's funny about this is Lindsay Sloan is a cheerleader in Bring It On.
I still need to watch Bring It On.
I haven't watched either, but I have watched the clip where like they're all introducing themselves and Lindsay Sloan is the I'm Big Red.
Because of that cast, we should both watch it.
Yeah, maybe that can be our season 3 to 4 break. Planning it out already.
Perfect.
Also, I was like, where are Jill and Cece? Are they not in this season? Because this would have been the perfect opportunity for Jill and Cece.
Well, yeah, we don't see them, do we?
I don't know if they're gone. We haven't seen Cece for a hot minute. We've seen a little bit of Jill.
They got left behind at Disneyland. They're stuck in It's a Small World.
I don't even know if we saw them at Disney World. We saw another random cheerleader at Disney World.
Oh.
Salem is attempting to take apart the can opener.
All I have to do is spin my head around 33 times, he says as the screwdriver is taped to his hat.
And he ends up just smashing it on the floor. Mortimer is rehearsing his magic act by sawing Hilda in half, but his saw breaks, so he goes to get another one. Sabrina arrives home and tells Hilda and Zelda that Valerie wants to be a cheerleader, but they don't see the issue.
I'm worried about Valerie. She's fallen in with a bad crowd, says Sabrina. Trekkies, asks Zelda. And at this point, I got very excited because there's my triple Trekkie crossover. I did it. I guessed correctly.
Do you think they put that in there because the director had directed Star Trek?
I think so. I hadn't looked at the director list. I almost called it out there as well when you were reading all that of, look, I was right.
Good job. I will give you a half a point.
Thank you.
Sabrina also says it's a known fact that cheerleaders sleep upside down from the rafters in old barns. Mortimer returns with a new saw, and Sabrina guesses it's not a good time to ask about the family secret. He gets back to sawing Hilda, and it works, but then her legs take off running, with Zelda chasing after them.
Usually it's the audience that walks out, says Mortimer.
Valerie is signing up for tryouts, but Sabrina screams and tries to stop her. But Valerie has always wanted to be a cheerleader. Sabrina still doesn't understand, but Valerie tells her to accept it and leaves. Sabrina yells, no president has ever been a cheerleader. This was true at the time, but then eventually G.W. Bush gets elected and he was a cheerleader.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. A sleepy Harvey greets Sabrina, who complains about Valerie wanting to be her cheerleader. Harvey doesn't see what the harm is.
Everybody wants Valerie to be happy. Am I the only one who cares about her? Asks Sabrina.
That should have been the sentence that Sabrina was like, wait, am I the bad friend?
Oh, that should have caused a little bit of self-reflection. One would hope.
Sabrina's not great about self-reflection. Sabrina arrives home to find Salem with a torn-apart telephone. He tells her that when he's done, they'll be able to call anywhere, anyone, anytime. And his way shocks you when you hit the 7. She goes into the kitchen with Mortimer, and he says she can ask him about the family secret now, but she'd rather talk about Valerie. Sabrina tells Mortimer that Valerie is making a mistake by wanting to be a cheerleader. Mortimer summons a penny, which will allow Sabrina to look into Valerie's mind to see what she's thinking and manipulate her thoughts.
I already know what she's thinking, and it's all rhymes.
And I like the magic sound that Mortimer's magic makes. I don't remember what it is now, but I liked it when I was watching the episode. Sabrina finds Valerie at cheer tryouts the next day and gives Valerie the penny, tucking it behind her ear as a cheesy magic trick. Sabrina sits off to the side and zaps into Valerie's brain, where she sees Valerie's daydream about being a popular cheerleader. Sabrina alters the daydream to show her picking on other kids. Valerie gets a worried look on her face and daydreams again, this time seeing herself cheering for visiting grandparents.
What is this, a United Way commercial? Give me a break, says Sabrina.
And one of those cheerleaders looks closer to 30 than she does to 17 in the background. Sabrina alters it again to show her and the other cheerleaders forcing the grandparents to cheer and making fun of them. Again, Valerie looks worried and tries a different daydream. A happy Valerie passes out flyers in the hallway, but Sabrina distorts it. Now it shows Valerie and Libby walking down the hall together and calling Sabrina a freak. Valerie looks very upset. Libby calls Valerie for her turn, but Valerie has changed her mind and leaves. Sabrina is satisfied with her work.
Wonder if they give a Nobel Prize for friendship, she asks.
No, but maybe they give a FIFA prize for friendship.
Savage.
Sabrina comes out of her room next morning to find Mortimer on the phone and tells him the penny worked great.
I probably saved Valerie from a life of crime, which, as everyone knows, is what cheerleading leads to.
But Mortimer is distracted. His gig got canceled. When he hangs up the phone, he doesn't actually press the button to hang up the phone. And he says he was replaced by Kit, the talking car from Knight Rider, aka Bill Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. TGIF, circle of life. Sabrina feels bad for him. Mortimer talks about how he loves being a witch-gician. Witch-gician. How did your caption spell it?
Witch-gician.
Mine spelled it wig-gician. W-I-G, like wigician. Mortimer is making tea in the kitchen, which is filled with torn apart appliances. Zelda comes down and yells for Salem, who is in the freezer. Zelda opens it and asks Salem when he's going to put everything back together.
Avert your gaze. I'm working with isotopes, he warns.
Salem is on a journey of self-discovery.
For instance, I just discovered it's really cold in the freezer. My eyes are frozen open.
Mortimer offers to help and casts a spell which zaps Salem to what looks like India.
Abracadabra, abracadunk, please someone help us with all this junk.
Again, what does the Witches' Council think when Salem is zapped so far away from the person who's supposed to be his caretaker/jailer?
Maybe that's why Zelda's, really harsh on Mortimer and, insistent. Because she's instantly no, bring him back now.
Because otherwise they'd be like, Salem's gone. Chill. Okay, I accept that. Thank you for answering that. That makes me happy. Zelda yells at Mortimer, as Sky just said. Valerie sadly signs up for orchestra auditions, and Sabrina tries to list the bright side to not being a cheerleader, but Valerie isn't very comforted. Sabrina talks about going to Color Me Mine, and that's when I said, Sky, can we go? I've never been to Color Me Mine.
I have not either.
Okay,
let's do it.
Let's do it. When you're no longer Jeremy.
February.
Oh, I can make a little heart dish. Harvey comes up and asks if they know where he can rent a Mother Goose karaoke machine for his little brother's birthday today.
Harvey Kinkle, king of the conversation starters.
He's in charge of entertainment, but he's been so busy helping his mom, he completely forgot.
My dad's going to really lay into me. I'm telling you, it will be like the final scene from Braveheart. At which point I had to pause and be like, you mean the scene where he's literally drawn and quartered and then beheaded, Harvey? That scene of Braveheart?
I've never seen Braveheart, so spoilers.
Well, yes, spoilers, but also we already weren't a fan of Mr. Kinkle, but I think this solidifies it.
I worry about Harvey's home life. That is a large age gap. That is a 17-year age gap between your children. Granted, we live in Utah, and that is not entirely uncommon here. And then his father seems to be not the nicest, has a temper, potentially abusive. Someone needs to check in on the Kinkles. Sabrina offers up Mortimer to be a magician at the party. Mortimer is in the kitchen with Hilda and Zelda, still trying to bring Salem back. Instead, he conjures a random man in a hospital gown who Zelda guides over to a table with several other people. Sabrina comes in and tells Mortimer the good news about the birthday party. Mortimer is thrilled.
After 300 years of practicing this, it's finally paying off.
But Zelda says he doesn't have time because he needs to bring back Salem. Hilda points out that they are getting closer because he just conjured a guy waiting for his CAT scan and a cat skills comedian and Sylvia and Irving cats. Sabrina asks how you explain Martha Washington, but Zelda doesn't know. Just then the doorbell rings. It's the kids! Mortimer is doing magic tricks with Martha Washington as his assistant, and I love Harvey sitting in the audience with his little hat on. Hilda, Zelda, and Sabrina watch off to the side, and Zelda worries that something horrible will happen. Sabrina says to cut him some slack because he's doing what he loves, but Zelda thinks he could have been so much more. Sabrina doesn't understand what the harm is as long as it makes him happy, and she slowly realizes what she's been doing to Valerie and runs out. During the scene, I got very distracted by Zelda's hair and wondering if she was wearing a bumpet, because it has a little poof. Mortimer asks for a volunteer and selects Harvey's brother.
Does he look old enough to have dental records? Asks a worried Hilda to Zelda.
I mean, as long as you've been to the dentist, you should have dental records, right?
I believe so.
That child looks like he's 8. I'm hoping that kid's been to the dentist. Mortimer casts a spell and sends off the boy, but brings back Salem. The boy appears in India while Salem warns the kids that Mortimer is a menace to society. Mortimer starts freaking out while Harvey and the other kids cheer, thinking it's all a trick. Mortimer asks Salem to kill time while he tries to bring back the kid. Mortimer goes into the dining room and casts a spell, bringing back the boy. Even Mortimer is shocked.
Abracadiggy, abracadac, oh please little boy, won't you come back?
I was like, I can absolutely see why Dom DeLuise was a voice actor. His voice is so good. His inflections, the way he does it, so good. Sabrina is in Valerie's room apologizing for ruining her chances at trying out. I don't know what the purpose of having them in a whole brand new set of Valerie's room was. And we saw the tiniest little sliver of it, but okay. Sabrina tells Valerie to ask Libby to let her try out. Oh, and in the background, there's a boombox. I saw it for like a half a second, but I'm pretty sure my sister still has that same boombox.
Amazing.
Cut to Libby laughing hysterically at the thought of extending the cheerleading tryouts for Valerie. She starts to walk away when Sabrina zaps her. She comes back and asks Valerie if right now is convenient. So Sabrina can just control Libby with no out loud spell, no penny, but we had to go through all that effort. Okay, sure. Valerie says yes, and a confused Libby walks away. Valerie tells Sabrina she's nervous, and Sabrina tries to hype her up.
Sure, there's the possibility of humiliation, but this is high school. When isn't there the possibility of humiliation?
Valerie says she'll only do it on one condition. The scene flips to both Valerie and Sabrina holding pom-poms. Valerie has asked Sabrina to try out with her to give her confidence. Valerie and Sabrina start the routine, with Valerie doing a good job and Sabrina struggling to keep up and to hold on to her pom-poms. It ends with Valerie doing a cartwheel and Sabrina falling on her butt. Sabrina assures Valerie that she did great.
You were incredible, like Martha Graham if she did sporting events. Martha Graham lived from 1894 to 1991 and was an American modern dancer whose technique reshaped the dance world and is taught worldwide.
Next is the essay portion of the audition. The effect of cheerleading on the North American Free Trade Agreement. And minis or middies, how long and why? Everyone is saying goodbye to Mortimer, and Sabrina regrets not having asked him about the family secret, which is the one thing she has to do this season.
Hilda also says, "You mean I'm 2 inches shorter for nothing?"
He tells her he hid a clue somewhere in the house as he sits in a cannon. He asks Sabrina to light him, telling Zelda he's going to miss her, and saying, "See ya," to Hilda. The cannon explodes, but Mortimer is still there. He decides to take the closet instead. Harvey is saying at lunch how weird it is that he can't get the curry smell out of his brother, and he can't sleep without sandalwood burning. The cheerleaders come in to announce the results of the cheerleading tryouts. Valerie made the team. Libby also announces that Danita Jones and Renee Phillips had made the squad, and those are 2 names of the Sabrina staff writers. Sabrina congratulates her, but Libby pushes Sabrina out of the way to hand Valerie pom-poms. Valerie continues to celebrate, and Sabrina is happy for her.
That means if a varsity cheerleader dies or gains weight, I'm in. Do you think someday I'll look back on this moment and say it was the happiest of my life? Asks Valerie.
You know what, for Valerie? Quite possibly. Libby then announces that they're showing a video of Sabrina's tryout, and everyone runs out of the cafeteria to watch it. Sabrina is searching for the clue and finds something behind a couch cushion, but it looks weird. Zelda explains that's how all her clues will look. It's a puzzle she has to figure out. The clue looks like a superhero with ABC on his chest. Sabrina puts it together that it's Spellman and means the family secret is about them. Hilda comes in and says she can't find the clue, but maybe it will help to think like Mortimer. Sabrina tries to stop her, but Hilda casts a spell like Mortimer, sending them all to India.
Abracadooby, abracadoo, help us find Sabrina's clue.
And when Hilda casts that spell, her magic is not her usual white smoke, but instead a violet electric flash like Mortimer's. In our end tag, Hilda, Sabrina, and Zelda walk into a very cleaned up kitchen. Salem says he's a handyman now. Zelda notices a piece of paper under his paw and grabs it. It's a receipt for $3,000 worth of appliance repair. Salem sobs. And that is our episode. Any final thoughts, Sky? Oh, I thought you died.
Perks of being off camera. Were you excited for a moment so that this podcast could get numbers?
I started going through okay, first I need to contact Jill, but then I need to figure out how to get the audio recording.
Priorities. It was an episode. Now that I've heard you tell me, I remember more about it. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Sabrina's a terrible friend.
Such a bad friend. All right, so what is your new title for this one, Sky?
I wrote the other night, Sabrina the Terrible Friend or Sabrina the Manipulator.
And then we have one clue.